Hey guys, Elite Legionario here, and today I'm bringing you a 2 vs 2 siege, and I'm on the assault. I'm playing as Macedon, and my ally, RoyalPikeman, is in command of the Numidians, and our opponents, Karlmarx is Egypt, and Chiko is the Julli Romans. This was a maximum money, no rules, 2-on-2 siege. So it's an Egyptian city. So automatically Egypt, and it's in the desert obviously, so that means Egypt and Numidia will get bonuses in this battle. My army consists of 10 units of maxed out Royal Pikemen, 5 units of maxed out Cretan archers, 2 units of maxed out companion cavalry, and 3 units of maxed out heavy onagers. My ally, Royal Pikeman, his army consists of, I think it's 10 units of, 11 units of maxed out Numidian legionnaires, 2 units, 3, I think it's about 4 units of maxed out Numidian desert infantry. He's also got 2 onagers and 2 towers. I think that's his 4th. And the Egyptian player brings out all of the chariots. And what interested me here, which I thought was a really bad build for both armies, was the enormous amount of cavalry used in the siege. See, cavalry in sieges, I don't reckon. I mean, they can be of use, but I just don't think they're as good. And in sieges, particularly, or any side of the siege really, it's particularly attack. Cavalry's pretty, unless it's like a wooden wall one. But the Egyptian army consists of several Nile cavalry units. Everything will be maxed out, obviously, because it's such an enormous money game. He's got a lot of Pharaoh's bowmen. He's got there's 4 over there, and he's also got about 4 on my end, so he's got 8 of those. He's got several Pharaoh's guards, several chariots, which he's really squandered too. He's just taken them out here, and they're going to get trashed fighting these Numidians. The Julli has got a ton load of first cohorts, legionary first cohorts. He's got 10 legionary first cohorts, and I think he's got 10 Praetorian cavalry. I think. Actually, no, he's got about 8 Praetorian cavalry and 2 archers, I think. I'm not too sure. So here I bash down the walls and kill a lot of Pharaoh's bowmen, which were 4 on this wall, 1 right where this unit broke. He's also got several Pharaoh's guards at this end. And there's some weird stuff happen in this battle. I'll show you when it gets there. Again guys, feel free to skip ahead, sieges can be very long. And the wall crumbles again, and a whole lot more Pharaoh's guards go down. That unit just lost 71 men because the wall caved in on them. So if you're not careful of that, that sort of thing, you can lose a lot of men. And I usually, when I'm allowed to bring onagers, I don't bother with siege gear, to be honest, because it just you don't need it. Just bring onagers, bash the walls down, and in you go. It's much easier than trying to climb walls and all that. So over here, I've broken in another wall on my end, and there's some more Pharaoh's guard go down, Pharaoh's bowmen rather. On this end, these Pharaoh's bowmen are causing considerable damage to, or harassing damage to these Numidian legionnaires. And when I think about this fight, high money games, it's not really that great idea to bring bowmen. I just forgot about it, to bring archers, although, and I will say that my Cretans do prove useful in this fight. So now that I've busted their walls down, I wanted to bust these towers down so that they wouldn't shoot back, but that doesn't really work, so I changed my target in a minute to there until I run out of rocks to throw. But in a minute you're going to see some really weird stuff happen when I attempt to make an assault. Well, I think it's weird. And one thing that I found in Rome Total War, which is why I don't do a lot of sieges, is because the pathfinding in this game, the men, they do weird stuff. They get all clumped up, and some go this way, some go that way, and it's just a disaster. I don't do a lot of sieges because of it, and to be honest, sieges can be very long, and unless your ally's willing to work with you, it's not a lot of fun. So I don't have a lot of sieges on my channel rather, but I'm willing to do the odd one here and there. And I haven't done one for a while, so I thought I'd throw one in. But sieging's an art all in itself. You've got to do it differently, and I don't do it very often, so I'm not very good at them. It just depends. The defender always has an enormous advantage though, so you've got to be careful when you're on the assault. If I'm getting siege gear, I always bring peasants and things to tow it, because I do not need my good infantry units getting wasted bringing along siege gear. And certain factions are a lot better at sieging in my opinion. The Romans are very good at sieging. They've got great siege gear, they're good on the walls, they're good on the ground. They're definitely the best at sieging in my opinion. They're good on the defence, they're good on the attack. Defensively though, the Greek city-states are definitely the best. You can just shove a whole lot of Spartans and armoured hoplites in a choke point and make it impossible to breach it, unless you go straight frontal, and that's not easy, unless perhaps you pack in urban cohorts. But on the attack, the Greek city-states are another story. It's a lot harder against walled cities. It's alright if they're like big stone wall. If it's a wooden wall, it's alright, but if it's a big stone wall, they're useless on a wall because they can't phalanx formation. So not much point in that. As you can see over here, there's Pharaoh's guards up here, and interestingly enough, they've managed to stay in formation. I have never seen that, because every time I've gone on a wall, no phalanx unit can maintain its formation. I've tried it. It won't let you put it into formation, so I don't know what the heck that was. So I've busted 2 entry points. Usually I like to bust as many entry points open, because that way I can get more units in more locations at one time, other than getting bogged down in 1 or 2 locations. If I have 4 locations, I can get flanking things coming in and all sorts. It also spreads out my opponent's my opponent's forces, and makes it quite a lot harder than it regularly would be. So over here, my ally is quite clumped up here on the wall, but I can see why. He's brought himself close to the wall so he can avoid taking large amounts of casualties. So if you get real close, you can avoid some more casualties, because these towers and stuff additionally inflict a lot of damage on your army. But if you can get close enough, you know, the trajectory is too hard for them to hit you. So I'm advancing here now, and using factions like Macedon and stuff, I find it a bit challenging on the offensive in sieges. Using pike units, particularly in walled big walled cities like this. I find they do weird stuff when they get in the city. They don't go where you tell them, and they get very messed up, and you'll see that happen in this fight. And I don't know if you guys have this problem, but sometimes when I select all my men and use the Alt key to keep them in formation when I move them, the game reforms them into a weird line. I hate that. It reforms them into one continuous line when I've clearly told them not to do that, and it can really mess me up sometimes in a game. Several times it's happened, and it's cost me games before, and I feel like, you know, throwing my computer out the window when that happens. No, I'm just kidding, I wouldn't do that, but it's really annoying nonetheless. So I move up here, and now that my Cretians are up, I'm going to hopefully distract these Pharaoh's bowmen. Now, Pharaoh's bowmen nearly as good. They don't have quite as much attack as Cretans, but they nearly do. But they've got a lot more armor defense, plus they're on this wall, so they've got the advantage here. But I do have the numbers, so it's pretty even. Cretans are fantastic archers, totally reliable, as are Pharaoh's bowmen. And so are Forester Warband, Chosen Archer Warband, and Archer Auxiliary. They're the best archers in the game, are those 5 units of archers would be the best archers in the game. Now let me explain to you, like I said before, it gets really weird here. I have 3 units of Royal Pikemen up against this 1 unit of Pharaoh's Guard, and the only thing I can assume is they just get messed up too much. This 1 unit of Pharaoh's Guard gets these Praetorian Cav and Pharaoh's Guard managed to beat all these Royal Pikemen, which are in a deeper formation against the spread out formation. I don't understand what was going on here. I get pretty bashed up, pretty bad. The only thing I can assume is when I come in here like this, if you're looking at my men, they come very disorganized and they keep like jiggling their spears around and bringing out their swords, and it causes me to get really bashed up. I can only assume that's what's going on here. I really don't understand why it was happening. At the moment it says I'm winning, but when I was playing, a lot of these units got routed by these cavalry. Look at these Praetorian cavalry, it says they're winning. And they're going head on into a bunch of spears. I could not for the life of me understand what this was. I just can't understand it. How does this Praetorian cav survive against all these men? I did not take my men out of formation, but for some reason they're fighting with their swords. That really, I hate when that happens. That is a game glitch. I tell you now it is, because I'm fighting here, my men were in phalanx formation, but they're bringing out their swords, and already one of my units is routing, getting routed by Praetorian cav in a front-on battle against Royal Pikemen. This is what I talk about with sieges. Weird stuff like that happens. I don't know why though. So I have to bring in reserves to save my ass. And as you can see, I lost quite a lot of men on the approach too. But not that that should be a big deal, but I mean, I'm only assuming that because they didn't stay in phalanx formation for some reason. I tell you now, I did not take them out of phalanx formation. I don't understand why it did that, and I was getting annoyed with that. But fortunately, I don't have the same problem over this side of the field, and I break through. So I'm going to rush my units here to get into the back of these Praetorians. But by this point I start to get a little better, because I rush in my own companions on this side, and I'm thinking to myself, I need to have my own cavalry support against these Praetorians, which are seemingly indestructible. They just won't die. Here he's going to bring in some of his legionary first cohort, and again they're doing this again. They're out of formation, and I'm not sure why they keep doing it, because I'm not taking them out of formation. I had them in formation, so I'm not sure what that was about. And this is another thing that happens, they get very messed up. If you look, they're quite messed up, and that's really annoying me as well. But fortunately my companion cavalry get through and start supporting, and I'm beating down these first cohorts as well. So I do not know what was going on there, because I mean, if I charge Praetorian cavalry into a headlong into Royal Pikemen, I generally get my men routing, so I don't know what was going on there. But fortunately I break through, and this is why I don't do sieges that much, because weird stuff happens. Well, I think it's weird anyway. So this first cohort unit routes, and I'm going to go after some more of these first cohorts. So as archers though on the walls, my Cretans did very well, and I was really impressed with it, because usually they like, hit the wall and stuff. So normally archers in high money games are not really worth it, because they're not really very effective, but in this case they were well worth the effort. If I hadn't had them, I would have most likely definitely lost this battle in this side of the format of the thing. So here I send my companions out to see if they can get some of these first cohorts, but that's not really working that well. So I'm going to withdraw, and as you can, if you look right there, you can see the actual centurion. with his fancy schmancy cape and his centurion symbols. It's pretty cool. But this is what kind of annoys me. You get really clumped up like this, and it's very hard to organise your men. And I was worried about Peeler at this stage, and my guys can't really attack over the walls of the arrows, and they're out of arrows anyway, so they've got their swords drawn. So if we check out what was going on the other side of the field, RoyalPikeman's clumping up here at the walls. Now, just because he's clumping up, don't assume he's making bad tactics, because clumping up is just something you realise happens in sieges. It's like a thing with sieges. So here I'm fighting these first cohorts, and my RoyalPikeman are doing a good job against them. Basically because they're not getting into a very good formation here. I'm not really doing that great formation wise either, but at least I'm getting my men tightly together, and they're still able to use their formation to a certain extent, I guess. So over here, it appears my ally has managed to get one of his towers in. The other one was destroyed. A lot of dead chariots there. Again, chariots, like cavalry, are not really that great to have in siege battles, not in my opinion anyway. But I am bashing down these first cohorts pretty quickly too, but I would draw a few of my units. I want to get them down to this end, and I'm going to attack from two angles. But there's still a significant number of Roman troops there, so we'll have to be careful. We'll have to time our attacks perfectly even. But the weirdest thing happens in a moment. You'll see what I mean in a moment. So at the moment there's not a lot happening, so I'm going to triple speed, guys, because it's just people moving troops into position. So I'm going to form my men up. As you can see, I do not like the idea of my pikemen being all jumbled like they were. But as you can see, there's an enormous amount of RoyalPikemen dead there, and I don't understand why, because they were getting attacked by both weaker pikemen in a shallower formation, more spread out one, which means it would have been easier to punch through it, or should have been, and cavalry. And as you can see, just as I was forming up then, the Roman player quits the game. He missed defeat and quits. And this was a real disappointment, because there was still plenty of power in that Roman army, in conjunction with what was left of the Egyptian one, to inflict a lot of damage on us. It was certainly, there was no way that indicated that either of us were, that me and my ally were going to win this. It was still very, very even. But he tossed it away, and that's really disappointing, and I felt quite sorry for the Egyptian player, because his ally just ditched him. So unfortunately that's the case, and this would pretty much automatically ensures myself and RoyalPikeman's victory. So this sort of thing, I don't know, did he get sick of waiting, or was he just being poor sport because his men got beaten over here? I don't know. He still had plenty of chances to win, but it was just weird. So I'm going to triple speed again, guys, because it's just moving into position. The Numidians coming along here, and I divide my forces here and send several this way and several this way. The reason I divided my forces is because normally dividing your forces is not a good idea, but in a siege what often happens is the front row or so will get into battle, and the back row will do nothing. It'll be sitting there doing absolutely nothing while it waits for the front row. So the better way to do it is to allow that front row to still be there, and then create another row on another part of the field so everyone's getting some action. That's how I reckon you should do it anyway. So here the Egyptian player decides to do a surprise charge on the Numidian player, and these two would both be getting bonuses because this is in a desert. And Nile cavalry, they look quite cool. They're not bad cavalry, but they're not great either. And charge them as these infantry, well, they're doing alright now, but I wouldn't advise doing that. Now he's bringing some Pharaoh's guards in. and these two will duke it out for a while, and as you can see I'm still on my way. So basically I brought about 4 Royal Pikemen for each side, 4 or 5 for each side, a companion and a couple of archers for each side. So I'm going to triple speed it again, guys. As you can see, the Egyptians doing very well, and as you can see several of these Numidian are routing, and this is probably a cause for concern, because that could cause a chain rout among the Numidian army, which has got a lot of defeat going on. A few victory, but a lot of defeat. So there's again a lot of weird stuff going on, because again these Pharaoh's guards have gone to their swords. I can be certain that he wouldn't have put them into that formation. But such a small amount of Pharaoh's guards were doing really well against a huge amount of Numidians, so some strange stuff. There's the Egyptian general dead. I'm piling into these Pharaoh's guards, which are getting, these are bowmen actually, these are getting very easily defeated. I bring cavalry in because he asked for some support, because a lot of his men start routing, so I'm on my way to bring some companions in. They're going to get a bit sort of intercepted by these routers that are just standing there, and that's going to be inconvenient. But I'm going to rush my companions through, and I'm working on rushing my companions through all this. I could easily just sit here and pick up routers. I'd get a heap of kills, but just in case, my ally is more important than these routers, because these routers, consider them not even there. But the Egyptian player will admit defeat any moment now, because he knows his army's more or less gone and his allies ditched him. So this siege will come to an end. As you see, he just admitted defeat, and that was disappointing, because in all honesty this was a very fun game and it was still very close. As you can see, I had 1,815 men, got 976 kills, and had 1,272 men remaining. Royal Pikeman had 1,462 men, he had 964 men remaining, so we did about equal. I got about like 14 more kills than him or something, 12 more kills than him. Karlmarx though, he did really well. He had 1,429 men, he got 1,210 kills, and I had 112 men remaining. And Chiko, he had 1,745 men, he had 423 kills and 1,081 men remaining, and he just really let his teammate down. As you can see, my Royal Pikemen, they really didn't do very well. One or two of them did okay, but the rest of them, they just didn't do well, and I don't know why. I really don't know what went wrong with them. They just had a terrible time out there. It was weird. Probably they got a bit muddled, but they shouldn't have gotten that much trouble from cavalry. Didn't know what was going on there. My Cretians, very well. Usually in high money games archers are not worth it, but in this case they did. Companion cavalry did extremely well. This unit of Royal Pikeman did okay. My Honor just got quite a lot of kills because they killed a couple of groups of archers. So an interesting battle. So there's a siege for you guys. They don't bring you many of those, but here is one, and I hope you enjoyed it. So good game to Royal Pikeman, Karlmarx and Chiko. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you next time.